As I'm making this video, I just wanted to add one part to this. I'm going to put it at the very beginning. I almost forgot two faces. I can't find their faces. People hid their faces on purpose. They don't want people to know who they are. Priyanka Gade was one. They brought her in trying to so they could try to fire me for sexual harassment. It's flat out. They tried to. And I know better than that, guys. What's wrong with y'all? And then Borslov, I had to work with this guy very good at Python programming, very good. They tried to make it look like I was going to, take credit for his work, and I don't do that. What happens if you take credit for programming that somebody else does? They expect you to be able to I know, but I'm smarter than that, guys. You don't take credit for somebody else's work. You don't say you can debug something and not be able to do it. You don't, especially in electronics. You don't say something you can do something you can't do, or they'll fire you. Have a good day. Hello. So today is December 23rd, 2023. Nobody's been arrested as far as I know because I haven't seen nothing. I mean, the sad part is everyone knows across the entire nation, nobody tells the truth. Everyone knows in Dubai and Vietnam, nobody's done a thing. That's the sad part. The really sad part is the Lord God meant what he said about the plague. After tonight, if you guys are popping fireworks and someone told me, we're going to pop fireworks, you're going to see it. God meant what he said. The 10th plague is coming. He'll do it when he wants and when he's ready, but I'm going to swallow every soul because everyone knows I'm not letting anybody out of it. Your cops did it to me. Everyone knows, everybody's watching. The church is watching. The church let it happen. It's not my fault you listen to liars. You're not supposed to sacrifice anybody, and you did. So God is going to take the firstborn of an entire nation around the world to teach a lesson. What you have proven over the last 5 years, since 2019 to now, is that policemen will walk right up to me and look at me, pretend like they don't know anything about what's going on. They'll act like they're in haste, like they're getting ready to do something, and they don't do nothing. They'll come around me, pretend like they're going to help, they won't do nothing. They've been doing that. Even in Austin, Texas, I had a sheriff, Travis County sheriff. They were following me all over Travis County. He pointed at my tires. I just want you to know you got a screw in your tire. Just want you to know we're here to help. They were here to help. Yeah, they arrested me, knowing what was going on, knowing what Intel Corporation did, knowing what law enforcement did in Dallas Fort Worth, and they still just arrested me and put me in mental health. And how I know they knew is because every one of the cops that arrested me in the sheriff's station had violet shirts on that night. Violet. That's how you can know. That is how you can know what day I was really arrested. But they can change that too. If I can edit video and they have video, they have proof that cops are deleting, body cam footage and stuff, then they can edit the video too. Because I just learned how to edit video just over the last few months. But if I just learned how, and they had computers, they've been doing it all this time, and they work around the stuff, and they're trying to cover up they can edit video. It's not hard to do. It's not hard to edit at all. Anybody with a computer and a brain can do it. Anybody with a brain can do it. So anyway, I'm going to show you the faces that your police have selected are more important than the firstborn of an entire nation, and more important than your firstborn, more important than your son's firstborn, your daughter's firstborn. I'm going to show you the faces of the people who are more important than your children to these police officers, because they will never arrest the criminals, even though they know a crime's been. And I'm going to start right here with the people who made this happen. These are people that absolutely know the truth. They will never tell the truth. I hate them. I have to sit here, right here in the house of a murderer, next to a murderer, next to murderers. Nobody will tell the truth. You might as well add Tommy Duncan on here too. He knows. They all know. Everybody's just a liar. They'll lie right to my face. I don't know what you're talking about. Nobody knows nothing. Better shut up. Look, I think I saw her at the mall the other day, probably shopping for grandbabies. Her, if you're gonna have a mental health doctor, hurting people, torturing people, you deserve what you get. God's gonna give you this plague. You're gonna find out it's real. You're not supposed to disfigure people's teeth on purpose, but you did. You remember, you guys have chosen that these people are more important than your own firstborn. This was my divorce attorney, Kyle Whaley. Told me his name. That's what led me to him. And then he said something while he was he was finding out why the divorce was happening. He said something that made me, oh no, he was in the store. Kind of what they put in my head back in 2000, and I met this guy in 2015, and that's sad. That's sad. I met him like uh, Halloween. It was Halloween of 2015. That's when I met him. Um, these are the people that are more important than your firstborn. Just remember that. More important than your firstborn. They all know the truth. I mean, some of these people are guilty. Some of them aren't guilty. Um, but I know the ones that are guilty. Not all of them, but I know some of them. Some of them that are guilty. His dad was a preacher. He's flat out. He knows he's guilty. He knows he's guilty, and he's a highway patrol. She knows her father's guilty. He knows a lot of people are guilty. He won't tell the truth, and he's going to be a district judge. He knows the truth. He won't tell the truth either. I saw him at a gas station up here. Saw him at a gas station. Wait for me to pass by. If I were to walk up to any police officer today and say crimes have been committed against me, the FBI faked my daughter's death, I'd be in a mental hospital that night. That night, they'd put me in a mental hospital like that because they've done it before, and that's all they've proven is they're just going to keep sticking me in a mental hospital. And this is important. Just because you don't think people recognize you, I know exactly who you are when I see your face. Like I saw Janelle Payne in a car that looked like that little FBR car that arrested me over here on a hill where a tree was cut down. There was a tree cut down in the road, and I stopped. And then they came over the hill, and that was her in the car. It's either her or someone related to her, looked just like Janelle Payne. And another thing, I saw Janelle Payne Hunt as she was coming down this road out here by a little pond that John Lee took me to, where he caught a 5 pound bass. He took me out to that pond, and there's a bunch of oil rigs on it and stuff, oil pumps. I saw her drive by me right there, so I knew her face as soon as I saw her, and I hadn't seen her face to face in years. Charles Wright, I guarantee I'd know your face, you piece of trash, murderer. I don't care about you anymore. Ronnie Harley, I know your face too. She'd be the only person that I wouldn't know her face because I only had like 3 dates with her. Two dates, I think. 2 dates. Maybe three. And that was it. And I mean, if I knew you and like him, I saw him I saw him out here. So mind you, I knew his face when I saw it. It took a few minutes. I think I saw him in a I think I saw him in a pawn shop in Gainesville when I was selling off some stuff. Steve Harkins, I know that was him. He was in some car, looked like a big old giant beard, like he was trying to hide his face, like I was trying to hide who it was. In Denton, Texas, about I don't know, a month ago, 2 months ago. So just remember that if he has a big old fake beard trying to hide who he is, so people don't see him, just remember that when people start seeing your face and saying, "You piece of trash," just remember that when God takes the firstborn. Just remember that, like this guy. He told me I'm wearing orange for a reason in this picture, and he laughed at me. Look, he knows he's guilty. He's like, oh man, don't do this to me. Well, why didn't you tell the truth all those years? You knew the truth, Chad. Erin Price, she was my neighbor. She ended up with my house, and then they tried to tell my ex-wife because I gave the house to my ex-wife to sell. She goes, and the person sells said, "Oh no, it's not your neighbor, it's somebody else." I said, "No, April, it's Erin Price. I saw the name on it. It even has her address. It has her address to send all the payment, the tax stuff to." Dream Theater was in New York City when they faked 9/11. They were actually there. They had an album. They had an apple wrapped with barbed wire and the Twin Towers and fire around it. And it was released on September 11th, 2001. And right when they found out it was faked, they pulled pulled it all off the shelf because they were there. They know it's faked. They know it's fake. And they pulled all the records off the shelf. And Mike Portnoy sent a thing. Said, "We're sorry, we know nothing about this. We had no idea. It was just all it was just what do you say? A coincidence, something like that. It's a coincidence that we released an album like this on that day. It was just a coincidence." No, they knew because I met these guys up here, and Mike Portnoy did a drum solo just for Brett where he played on all his hardware. I laughing. He looked like that one guy. He looked like that one guy, Frank Zappa. And I'll pull that video up for you. He looked like that, but he's playing on all the hardware. And he gives a drum to the guy and he goes do 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 do. And then the guy out there, and the guy turns and looks at me while he's doing it, like he's laughing at me, right? And then Mike Portnoy, he goes, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa," did that towards me. I was like, Is he doing that to me? Is he doing that to me? Why is he doing that to me? I didn't understand it all. I understand it all now. I mean, that's what it's called. It's called brainwashing when you erase stuff in someone's mind. And you can do it and you've proven it. You've been doing it for years and you've proven it on me. Nobody seems to care. Nobody seems to care. So if you don't care about me and the people that your cops illegally did this to, God the Father is not going to give you any mercy. He says, if you can't stand to defend me after all that I've been through and all that I've proven, he does not want you in his kingdom. Not you or your lying children.
And this gentleman plays perhaps the strangest of them all. He plays the bicycle, and his name is Frank Zappa. The job of the moment. You want to play the New Departure Blues, or exactly what are you going to play on us here? I'll just let you show us what happens.
The first thing that I should do is demonstrate to you the different types of sounds that you can get from a bicycle, because it actually does make some very interesting sounds, and of course that's what we're all interested in.
There's new sounds, yes, like